Hey guys, back with a fairly big update video. Some pretty major stuff come up that I feel I need to talk about. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about plans for going into the rest of the year, what's all left of it, mainly because I'm not sure what's going to be happening in the next couple of months. We'll get into that. Also, since this is potentially going to serve as the year-end update video as well, we'll talk about what's going to be going on heading into 22. This all sort of ties together. So, first up, coming next week from time recording this, got SCGMC coming. I'll be there. I'll obviously do the annual video like always, and we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm trying to get one last entry done. Not super confident I will. If I do, I do. I don't, I don't. We'll see what happens. I had planned to do a little more on it today, but unfortunately we got some rain coming in that sort of threw a curve into that plan. At least got the base, the first coat of stain on, so that's at least something. So after that, I'm not aware of any other contests coming up. We'll see what happens. And as far as contests next year, that I really don't know at this time. This is where some of this all starts tying together. And that's where the sort of major update comes into play. Something we've been trying to do for at least the last 2 years. Looks like it's finally happening. We are at least right now in the 30 days to buying a house in Florida. So it looks like the move that kept saying was hopefully going to happen soon is finally going to be happening. So to say I've got all sorts of emotions and whatnot is an understatement. I will say this, we do think this was sort of a meant to be type house, as we had saw the house. It was one of the last 2 houses we looked at on the first day of a trip we had taken back to look at houses a couple weeks ago. Saw it late, get notified that night, at least through some of those, house search apps, that it had gone pending. And we were really bummed out. In fact, even the owner was disappointed, as they were there, and we had built a pretty good rapport with them. So we thought, hey, we'd at least have a couple days to, think about it. And our realtor was also really disappointed at their realtor, because the realtor didn't, call us at all, say, hey, I've got an offer coming in. If you guys looked at it today, are you willing to potentially get on this as well? Because you would think your realtor would at least do that, because then you could potentially get into a bidding war type scenario and make more money for your client. So we were disappointed, even more so after the next day of looking and not really finding anything. Did see one interesting house that was a possibility, if not for the fact that it needed a lot of work, and given the comparables in the neighborhood, you would not get your money back out of it. They had overbuilt for the neighborhood, though it was a neat, interesting house. I will say that objectively. I mean, I thought it at least was interesting. I'm not going to obviously post that just for privacy concerns. I don't need anybody potentially getting pissed at me for doing something like that. But this particular house, given the neighborhood and all that, we think it's a good investment, both short term and that getting us there, and longer term of some of the stuff at least I want to do with the house. So, what that means now, as far as channel and content wise, moving forward. Now, short term, realistically, I don't see this actually occurring. Probably not until late January, if not sometime into February. Just partially because the house does need some work. We're right now planning probably the first week of December or so to head back. Unfortunately, just because we're heading into the holidays now, which means airfare is gone stupid in terms of price. So we're actually going to be doing a remote close on the house. So, but we're planning that first week of December to head back and start doing some planning, as it were. When we do this, I'll probably shoot a little short special video, as one of the rooms I already know I want to use for the new sort of studio type setup. So I'll do a little thing on my phone, shoot that. Probably won't be a live stream or anything, as I thought about doing that potentially, but I think just for simplicity's sake, just shoot a video and discuss that. So that's going to be part of that. On that video, I'm also probably going to discuss longer term, because I do have some ideas, and excuse me, as I do think looking at some of the comparables in the area, the house could support doing something like this. I guess depending on, we're going to have some discussions on what all we want to do now versus what we might do down the road. But depending on what comes of those conversations, we could be going with one studio sub, and if these conversations bear fruit, and we do decide to do the bigger type of work up front, we could be looking at another studio space. Granted, that could be a down the road type thing. We'll discuss that in that video. So most likely, though, I guess you could call this the setup 2.0 that we're going to go with, and I'll discuss in that video. As just conceptually, I have a few ideas of what I want to do with that space, and since in this case we're going to be making it totally my own, I'm not going to have to deal with any of my sister's crap, and just so what is going to go there. To be honest, last time my family moved was in 1990, so we've lived here the last 30 years. Majority of my life. So to say I'm mentally all over the place, it's really an understatement. So that's where we're at there. Moving into now 2023, I do have right now recorded videos that'll take us roughly to mid to end of March. Would be a little further. Unfortunately, one of the videos I had shot originally for this year, when I went to edit it, found out, I guess, the audio cable wasn't all the way plugged in, and audio was complete crap. It was completely unusable, so I moved up one of the videos from 23 to fill its spot, and so I'm probably the next week or so going to be shooting it and trying to shoot a couple more. I'd like to ideally get stuff shot to take us into at least May. Probably not going to get further than that, just because I've packed so much stuff up already. I don't see me having enough material left out that I can, shoot enough to still more than that. Phone ringing. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Was not expecting to get a phone call. So, as I was saying, not knowing what's going to be coming next few months, want to get some more stuff recorded so that we get all that done and at least have a nice buffer with which to work with. As I said, since I'm thinking the actual finalized move's not going to happen until into January, February, I just want to make sure we've got enough recorded. Again, want to try to get to May just because I don't think I've got enough unpacked in order to get anything recorded beyond that point. As I said, I've been slowly packing stuff up for the last couple of years. Part because, obviously thought this would have happened a lot sooner. So that takes us into early 22 or 23, sorry. Once we start looking at later in the year, that I'm not sure. There's so many balls at play. At this point, I really cannot fully speculate on what's going to be happening. Obviously, once you get the new setup all together, one of the things I do want to have as part of it is an actual photo setup, photo video setup area, so that then we can do the review videos and all that a little more professionally, a little nicer looking than just back of my chair as we've been doing them for God knows how long. I'm also wanting to get back into streaming again. It's been 2 years since we did that. Again, one of those things I never thought would be as long as it's been, but is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I want to get back to doing that. I'm going to be looking at ways people have set up for that, and sort of building a new setup there. Obviously, once we get into December, when we do that trip, I'll talk about that a little. But obviously, that's a little lower priority just because, getting there, getting everything set up, and then hopefully finding work. Right now, about halfway through my instructor rating, just slightly less than that. And it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, just because writing lesson plans is just, it's just taking a lot of time. And yeah, once we get that, that's going to be probably the big thing I'm looking at doing, more or less for the rest of the year. I'm hopeful into December might be able to get it done early January. Big things are going to be getting the examiners scheduled, just because that's become the sort of linchpin on all this is just scheduling. It's like everyone's just getting stuff scheduled is just become a nightmare. So that's where we are with that. I do believe I've got 2 other videos. Actually, I just happened to recall that I need to do for a couple finished projects. One was for the USA Gundam Story Mecha Musume contest. Fortunately, I didn't place, but it was a fun contest nonetheless. So it's one I would do again. Also have another kid I had finished taking photos, And then there's actually a third that I need to fix something on that broke in transit. And once I get photos of that done, I'll obviously upload those to all the usual places and shoot do the slideshow video for that. But yeah, I mean, the last part of this year is just going to be all sorts of hectic and just way too much on my plate. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to shoot another one of these update videos for the end of the year to close it out. We'll see what happens there. I'm leaning towards probably not. Obviously, once we get settled in a new place, I will obviously do an update video again, just sort of a welcome back video and show the finalized new setup. And yeah, that's sort of where we're at. Like I said, big change coming. That's been saying it's going to happen for a long time, and it's finally actually going to happen. What happens after this move, I'm not entirely sure. We're going to see. It may be that we lose, say, June or something, just because all the changes and everything, timing, and just, yeah, a lot is just going to be hectic for a little while. Hopefully later in 23, things will smooth out and we'll have a good flow going. Work will be cooperative, such that I'll be able to potentially even get back to streaming fairly regularly. And one thing is, depending on the amount of time we have and just date-wise, I am going to look at some of the local clubs if they're having to meet any of the days. We're back there in early December, just to check them out if I can. And then obviously, I recall there were a couple of contests in the area, so we'll obviously next year take a look at them. Hell, maybe one of these years we'll finally get out to nationals and get stuff entered there. We'll see. Now, there's a lot of potential where we're moving. And yeah, I think right now we're sort of in that finalized wait and see. Once we're able to get back there again, I'll do a little update and we'll go from there. So, yeah, thank you guys for sticking around with me through all these changes. I know the last couple of years have just sort of been meh. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. I think next year is going to be where things start making some pretty major improvements for the better. So, until next time.